Hey, Aaron Adams here, Infinity Investing. Thank you for joining us on our real estate rookie mistakes series, common mistakes that rookies make, beginners make. There's three parts in this series where I go through in about 10 minutes for each episode, three common mistakes that beginners make. Today we're going to be covering the second set of mistakes. If you missed these first three, you're going to want to go back and catch that first as a lead-in to what we've been covering. And because today we're covering these three common beginner mistakes in detail over the next 10 minutes. So appreciate you joining us, and do want to get right into it. When you're looking at beginner mistakes, the next three common, the first one is that beginners forget that you make money when you buy. I'll get people that'll bring a deal to me and say, one of my favorite examples is I had somebody call me and say, Aaron, I have this real estate deal here in Boston that we can make $100,000 on. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested. What do we need to buy it for? And they said $5 million. And I thought, okay, that's a horrible return. Why would we do that deal? Well, because if we get a mortgage, and then there's these tax credits from the city, and they had this whole elaborate explanation of why it was still a good deal. But the heart of it was that the return that we were making for the cash we had to put into the deal wasn't worth the risk of potential loss on the project. And I grew up in Las Vegas. I've worked summers at restaurants and casinos, and so I've gambled a lot in my life, and sometimes I like to use the analogy of playing blackjack. You don't make money when you go cash out your chips at the end of a round of blackjack, assuming you have some chips, right? You make money at the table playing the game. And going to cash out your chips is just the financial transaction to get your money. So selling a property isn't where you make your money. You make your money when you get a deal for 50 cents on the dollar. We just bought a property where it was fire damage. So I bought the property and the adjacent parcel for $46,000. The property needs about $50,000 in fire restoration. So I'm going to be into it about $95,000. I can then sell that property for about $110,000, $115,000. And then I'm going to have the adjacent parcel with 3 lots that I'll be able to put modular homes on and sell all of those and make average of about $70,000 per deal. So I'm looking at 270, 140, 210 plus 10. So I'm looking at like 220 in profit on a $95,000 investment. That's phenomenal. I'm looking at making 200% in a year on my money. And yes, I'll get my return when I sell those properties, but I'm making my money by buying a property really cheap that I can get almost all of my money back just by flipping that first house. And so you always want to remember that if you're not buying at a discount, if you're not getting it for 75 cents on the dollar or less, then you're doing it wrong. You make money when you buy. You don't make money when you sell. Don't let a loan and, well, it's going to go up in value. Don't let those excuses be reasons for talking yourself into a deal that you're paying too much for, okay? If you're buying something at market value as a real estate investor, you're making a mistake. If you want to sell retail, you got to buy wholesale, okay? So that's the first beginner mistake, that you make money when you buy. I'm going to circle that in red. Now, the second one is that I find is that investors, they don't know what a good return is. And they've never thought about their return as it correlates to active and passive. Now, this is a topic that I could easily spend an hour on, but I want to give you just a 3 or 4 minute overview on it because I want you to start thinking about this topic. Active income is income that you make yourself. That's your blood, sweat, tears, time, and effort. Passive income is when somebody else makes you money. And so imagine somebody sells you a rental property and you're making 6 or 7% a year from the rents, 10% from the appreciation. So you're making 15%, but passive. It's their property manager that takes the maintenance calls. They're the ones putting tenants in the property. They're the ones who are doing the repairs. You're just sitting back and making 15% passive. And my rule of thumb is this. I'll even break it down even further. if it's active income, a good return is starts at about 15% and really goes up to 300% plus a year. So if you got $100,000 and you want to start real estate business, I guess if you made, if you had 100 grand, if you made 15,000 this year on it, that's okay. But you should be able to make 100,000 on your 100 or 200,000 on your 100, 200%, 300% for an active return. If it's passive, anything from 5 to 15%, I would say is good, because somebody else is doing that for you. You're making that 5 to 15% while you sleep, while you work on your active income, or while you go to your job. And so as an investor, you should be willing to take a lot less money for passive returns. And you should hold yourself to a higher bar and a higher standard for your active income. And that should then translate into how you spend your time. Because let's say you want to get into real estate and you buy some rentals and you're managing them yourself. That's the problem, because you're managing your own rentals with your active income time. That's someone, if you think about it, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. I mean, we all sleep somewhere between 5 to 8 hours a night. But when you subtract out that variability, we all have the same active income time. And if you and I are competitors in the same town for real estate, and you choose to buy 4 rentals and manage them yourself, I love that, because that's that much time you waste making your 15% on your rentals, while I'm out finding flips, making 100% return on my investments a year. And so I like, if you're my competitor, that you make that decision. Don't get bogged down in the minutia of your business or working in your business to make lousy returns. Be selfish of your time. Know what a good return is, and then learn to say, okay, I'm gonna work hard on my active income and make 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. Then I want to take 100,000 of it and park it over here passively, and keep spinning my active income, and then taking 200,000 and parking it over here passively. That principle of active, take some out, park it, passive, is how rich people get incredibly wealthy, because they just rinse and repeat on that cycle. Okay. Now, the final common beginner mistake that I want to touch on as part of this beginner series is beginners are more worried about getting money than getting deals. And I remember doing this. Well, I mean, when I got into real estate, I was teaching high school, and I started reading these books, and I thought, well, gosh, where am I going to get the money? I don't know how to get these loans. I don't have somebody at the bank. I certainly don't have $200,000, $300,000 to buy these deals. And what was interesting is, as I learned to find deals, okay, finding deals is much more important than finding money. Because if you have a deal, it's easy to find money. And you say, well, where? Well, yeah, you can go to the bank, but you also have hard money lenders. If you're not sure what a hard money lender is, do a Google search on that. You have real estate investment clubs that are a resource. Many of you know someone in your family who has money that might be interested in investing in real estate. My point being is that if you know how to make money when you buy and get a deal, let's say you're able to find a deal that's going to be worth $100,000, and you get it under contract for $50,000, I guarantee you, if you had a week to find that money, or you're going to lose the $50,000 in profits, you're going to find that money. And I've been in a teaching setting with a group of investors, and I would say, okay, well, raise your hand if you wouldn't be able to find the $50,000 to buy that deal. And I have, I always get a couple people that raise their hands. I'm always surprised by that. And I think, I'll say, okay, well, you need to leave this seminar because this ain't for you. If you can't get your hands on $50,000 in a week to buy a property that you can flip for $100,000 and make $50,000, this business is not for you. Because you'd find the money. You'd be calling your Aunt Matilda that you haven't seen since a family reunion when you were 10 to borrow the $50,000. But there's resources to find money. Money follows deals. It's not a chicken or the egg. It's not either or. Find deals, money will follow. And even as a high school teacher, I had other teachers wanting to loan me money for deals. I had family members, and it was very easy to find hard money lenders that would loan me money for my deals. And so the hard part is finding good deals. You can never have too many good deals, especially in a hyper market like we're in right now. And so focus on getting deals and developing your skills to find and get deals, and it will catapult your business forward. So thank you for joining me on this second common beginner mistakes, and look forward to having you with us on the next one.